Good morning, everyone. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I constitute this assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
If we'd all please remain standing while we sing the national anthem. So please, will we all be seated? So good morning and welcome to this historic occasion when we commemorate the newly qualified graduates from the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. We have graduates from architecture, planning, geomatics, from construction economics and management, and from all engineering disciplines. And we're especially excited to graduate 14 new doctoral candidates who've contributed to global knowledge of research, to the body of global knowledge with their research. So it's a real celebration, and we hope that you will all enjoy it and celebrate with us. We're going to start with a musical item, and we're delighted to invite opera singer Molly Danzangara to perform for us today. So I'm sure you'll agree with me that the vibrant South African College of Music is a jewel in the crown of the University of Cape Town, and it's at the forefront of music making in South Africa and internationally. The procession today was led by Sky Dladla and Black Roots Marimbas. This is a neo-traditional indie band that comes from Guguletu, and the band is made up entirely of UCT students and alumni. The prelude music and the national anthem were accompanied on the organ by postgraduate student Dale de Wint. Dale has completed his undergraduate studies at UCT, and he's now pursuing a postgraduate diploma in organ performance. Dale is also the director of music at St. Mary's Cathedral and a member of the Cape Town Baroque Orchestra, where he plays harpsichord and organ continua. This year, he made his debut in the UCT Symphony Orchestra, performing the Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony. Our pianist, Michaela Porter, accompanied soprano Molly Dansgara, who sang Je veux vivre, composed by Charles Gounod. Pianist Michaela Porter is the winner of several local and national piano competitions and has performed as a soloist at the Artscape Concerto Festival and the Hugo Lambrechts Concerto Festival. She is currently completing her second year, studying for a B-Buzz performance degree, and she's studying under Professor Francois de Toy at UCT. Soprano Molly Dansgara was awarded first prize in the 2023 Aviva Pelham Operetta competition and is currently completing her diploma in music performance. This year, she made her debut in the leading role of Giulietta in Opera UCT's production of The Tales of Hoffmann at the Baxter Theatre. And I'd like you to give them one more round of applause.
Mafu abhonxileyo avuzisa imvula yentsikelelo kuba nazi izifundiswa zinxaniwe ndithi zinxanelwe ikamva elikholisa umphefumlo babile beziduba besebenza imini nobusuku phantsi kwedyokhwe yemfundo kodwa lo ngumhla wemisebenzi yabo emihle yazi bathi abantwana xa bedlala bathi chapha 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 imanzi lokhwe yam ngoko nam ndithi qum makududume let the rain fall on the shoulders of those who bear the weight of rural dreams, those who have been planted here as trees to bloom under the sun of knowledge, who will produce a harvest that will transform destinies and communities. We see your people in you. We see how they see themselves in you, those whose names are first and only, who leave home with nothing but hope and a promise to return. Today, you exchange the robe of that responsibility with pride, and a cap and a gown and a piece of paper that has guided you like a map. Now yield it as a chart to mark a path for the many feet that are eager to follow in your footsteps, dressed in nothing but dreams and your story. To those of you whose very presence will demand inclusivity in your disciplines, who will demand that old tongues pronounce their names, Magutudume. Those of you who bear their degrees and diplomas like spades to rebuild what is broken, to break new ground in stubborn places, makututume. And then there are those of you, who are fattened by knowledge, grazing books day and night, who chew the cud, then teach young stomachs to digest, makututume. And those of you, hallelujah, give amen, hallelujah. And those of you whose every effort, who felt the bite of circumstance, whose every effort was shredded by the teeth of mental health, you scarred survivors, ndakuni makututume. Kote dikhumbule, dithi alala kuni nonke basi alala, alala kuni nonke. Kodwa sisiqalo esi. Siyazingcangane, zenihlakule, nilime, nivune, niphakele isizwe sethu, sitye sonke sihluthe ngenxa yenu. Qum makututume.
An Imbongi is a composer and an orator of poems of praise. Imbongi offer critical commentary and narrative on the state of society through their izibongo. The poem of praise, an umbongo, was offered in honor of the graduates, their families, and their teachers. The Imbongi, Sipakazi Jonas, is a producer, a playwright, performer, and a UCT Master's graduate. A sincere thanks to Sipakazi Jonas for her poem of praise.
By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified the candidates recorded as in absentia. I shall now admit to the degrees specified the candidates to be presented to me.
Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you, excuse me. You must give me your card. There we go. For the degree of Master of Science in Engineering, Malefetsani David Letsika. For the degree of Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Vafa Naragi. For the degree of BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Gladness Ntombiyakise Mponzawana. For the degree of BSc in Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Martin Matlatsi Motileng. For the degree of BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Uzile Mkumbuzi. For the Bachelor of Architectural Studies, Mashuru Livingston Mutsila. For the Bachelor of Architectural Studies, Nkosana Mngube. For the Master of Philosophy, Simpiwe Madlanga. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Nirvana Bianca Govindan. For the Bachelor of Science in Geomatics, Amahle Mkize. For the BSc in Engineering and Civil Engineering, Niyaz Yapi. For the BSc in Engineering and Chemical Engineering, Ntandoyen Kozi Piwayena and Lobukazi. For the Master of Science and Engineering with distinction, Miriam Aranayetwe. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Dayalan Nair. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Nyonelise Nkebeani. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Cynthia Warimu Macharia. For the Master of Water Engineering, Nosisa Happiness Nkai. For the Master of Engineering, Jacqueline Sipokazi Gongleka. For the Master of Engineering, Yolanda Dondashe. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Peter Extian Duplessis. For the BSc in Engineering and Electrical and Computer Engineering, Tane Dylan de Boos. For the BSc in Engineering and Electrical and Computer Engineering, Michael Joseph Altrula. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical and Mechatronic Engineering, Caleb Martin Tetard. For the BSc in Engineering and Chemical Engineering, Tevin President Holiday. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Felix Ashton Guni. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Deborah Denai Rutendo Chikukwa. For For the Bachelor of Architectural Studies Honours, Dylan Junior Tejada. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Nkolisi Siyabonga Nzimande. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Veshailan Naidu. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Crystal Evelyn Jafta. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Davison Takawira Senzai. For the Bachelor of Science in Construction Studies, Tarirai Mutlilwa Zimba. For the Master of Philosophy, Kamau Mashua. For the Bachelor of Architectural Studies, Kiara Singh. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Mohammed Farad Ahmed. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Natia Galim. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Marek Oliver Kanigowski. For the Bachelor of Science Honours in Construction Management, Vuyokazi Lerato Makwena. For the Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying, Mahlatse Mataung. For the Master of Science in Property Studies, Godfrey Henderson Kadzua. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Hlanganani Lutuli. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Luis Anesu Durango. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction in the coursework component, Slasor Alexis Mahlelebe. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Tsepiso Lerontina Lepota. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Malesela Michael Mugano. For the BSc in Engineering in Civil Engineering, Kalungisha Ngombe. For the Advanced Diploma in Business Project Management, Mabulama Casio. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Tlotlisang Lepetisang Lekena. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Albert Vuyani Duda. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Nelisa Diobiso. For the BSc in Engineering and Chemical Engineering, Varushka Nikita Snyders. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering and Mechatronics, Luke Dion Bykes. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Ticha Vavamwe Mbivo. For the Master of Engineering, Kaboyamodimo Craig Nair. For the Master of City and Regional Planning, Zaid Gul. For the BSc in Engineering and Civil Engineering, Masweng Kosi Mkize. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Tadiwanashe Tinashe Munesu Mabudu. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Manda Danson Lilimu. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Iviwe Malotana. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Tolongelo Wilhelmina Poloringi. For the Bachelor of Science, Honours in Property Studies, Sarah Jane Deary. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Dennis Tinotenda Matogo. For the Master of Science in Engineering, with distinction, Surprise Dineko Matlangu. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Lebohang Rali Kalakala. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Sandisile Paul Walaza. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Khomotso Mapula Sekwele. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Tian Munro. For the Bachelor of Science in Construction Studies, Dan Muloleka Dibetso. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Kabangu Piri. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Mihlali Solombela. For the Master of Philosophy, Mac Michael Mokobane. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Thomas Henry Sands. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Graham van Niekerk. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Nashif Mauser. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Siamqela Yondela Jackson Matwele. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Lebogang Kagiso Khaladi. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Vimbai Susan Kasonde. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Everjoyce Tendai Nyaruwata. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Elizabeth Ajoya Nyambe Kerera Foley. For the BSc in Engineering in Mechanical and Mechatronic Engineering, Tebelo Jackson Lesita. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Makokorepe Sebodu Maswinyaneng. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Kokukuhle Tsengwa. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Katleho Jerry Mofokeng. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Lungelo Sikubu. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Jonathan Luke Campbell. For the Bachelor of Architectural Studies Honours, Chandapal February. For the Master of Science and Engineering, Tinashe Ngwenya. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Shiva Maharaj. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Jivan Moodley. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Mohammed Adil Ayasim. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Stephen Mark Cottrell. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Calvin David van der Merwe. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Marvin Chomba Kangangi. For the Master of Science in Engineering, James Michael Heidenreich. For the Master of Science, the Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying, Paul Chepo Opio Ikuya. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Zandile Pertunia Peku. For the Master of Engineering, Tinashe Roxley Kagande. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Michael Sekiete Ngao. For the BSc in Engineering in Civil Engineering, Selo Solomon Massa. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the coursework, Marley Swart. For the Master of Engineering, Kapil Singh. For the Master of Engineering, Pravanya Pillai. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Christopher Mailer. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Mauro Giovanni Borragero. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Anam Magudu. For the BSc in Engineering in Civil Engineering, Tawanda Tadiwanashe Ruswe. For the BSc in Engineering in Civil Engineering with honours, Tinotenda Clifford Washaya. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the coursework, Evidence Mandisvida. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Siyanda Kwane. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Eric Joseph Roberts Payne. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Mufaro Muhuru. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Zach Orion Wren. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Sibuyile Mihlali Sifuba. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Wanga Andrew Sandile Chikombedze. For the Master of Science in Project Management with distinction in the dissertation, Palesa Singata. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Lindo Kuhle Silencio Lubisi. For the Master of Science in Project Management with distinction in the dissertation, Mariah Wanjiru Gichuki. For the Master of Philosophy, Johanna Matlakala Lata. For the Master of City and Regional Planning with distinction, Georgina Irene Mangisi Sophie Zalumis. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Sky Erin Zeev. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Noah Lily Anthony. For the Master of Science in Engineering, David Anthony Starrock. For the Bachelor of Science in Property Studies, Alexia Kirsten Davids. For the Master of Engineering, Tariq Parker. For the Master of Engineering, Imran Friday. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Annabelle Ngasi Matalanga. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Mutlatsi Munyake. For the Master of Engineering, Nokwanda Pearl Sibisi. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Muzi, Calvin, Nkosi. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Ike Maunlatlala Mafa. For the Master of Philosophy, Pierre-Jean Alexander Garebe. For the Master of Philosophy with distinction, Kai Alexander Forster. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Matthew Michael Hall. For the BSc Engineering in Mechanical and Mechatronic Engineering, Mohammed Hussein Muqaddam. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Oitse Percy Kolaketswe. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Chad Dante Vessels. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Zahra Mortlakar. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Leon Sali. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Sonwabile Mangaliso Kawamanda Mti. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Harvey Voyani Veleko. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Tendo Arthur Chinave. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Sahil Firoz Khan. For the BSc in Engineering in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Ahmad Kemish. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Nicholas Norman Elias. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Tiamike Paula Chibambo. For the BSc in Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Zahira Ali. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Bulelwa Leni. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Tinashe Rafael Jambo. For the Master of Science in Property Studies, Fulata Zimba. For the Bachelor of Science in Construction Studies, Abdul Basit Parker. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Daniel George Slater. For the Master of Philosophy with distinction in the coursework, Anne-Marie Ellman. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Daniel Barlin. For the Master of Engineering, Matthew Lee Meader. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Yateshru Raghu. For the Master of Geotechnical Engineering, Abakan Mbedzi. For the Master of Geotechnical Engineering, Goni Dashe Mutanga. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering in Mechatronics, Duncan Donald McPherson. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Power Plant Engineering, Mahotso Moremadi Tobejane. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Karina Nanette de Kock. For the BSc Honours in Geographical Information Systems, Louisa Chirwa. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Jonathan Sibanda. For the BSc in Engineering in Civil Engineering, Nkesani Palesa Biko. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Alexandra Glynn Newlands. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Nkateko Echolis Mkabele. For the Master of Geotechnical Engineering, Julian Peter Lote. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Grant Norrie. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Senor Michael Simpson. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Karen Kathleen Nalubula Sekimpi. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Shisoshonke Muziwakile Dlamine. For the Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying, Ayanda Dodi Mnikati. For the Bachelor of Science Honours in Quantity Surveying, Dean Jordan Wasserman. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Tufik Fisher. For the BSc in Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Nomvelo Nonjabulo Ngubane. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Athena Rebecca Strauss. For the Master of Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Nokutula Linda Kuchwa. For the Master of Architecture, Rulani Rashid Rikotso. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Evan Justin Carr. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Ngoni Dashe Mombeshara. BSc in Engineering and Civil Engineering, Melissa Regina Duval. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Liam Kent McAlpine. For the Master of Transport Studies, Sanele Howard Kawula. For the Master of Philosophy, René Berger. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Maureen Chepkoech. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction, Raisa Ghani. For the Master of City and Regional Planning, Ashley Peterson. For the Master of Science in Project Management, Luazi Zulu. For the Master of Engineering in Civil Infrastructure Management and Maintenance, Salmi Lihola Neshila. For the Master of Philosophy, Jonathan Weinberg. For the Master of Structural Engineering and Materials, Gideon Tutaleni Kayangela. For the Master of Science in Engineering, Grace Ngwenya. For the Master of Science in Engineering with distinction in the dissertation, Luke Pierce Brown. Chancellor, it is my pleasure to present to you the candidates for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Today marks the culmination of years of dedication and hard work. This occasion is not just a reflection of individual accomplishments, but a testament to the collective pursuit of knowledge through conducting groundbreaking research, fostering interdisciplinary collaborations, stimulating academic debates, and the mentoring of the next generation of scholars. As you move forward, remember that your education does not end here. It merely transforms into a new phase where you will continue to ask questions, seek answers, and make meaningful contributions in your respective fields and society at large. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Lateral Torsional Buckling Behavior of Monosymmetric Steel Sections Formed with Flange Upstands, Kenny Mudenda. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Early Stage Design and Development of Mine Waste Valorization Techniques with Expert Input, a case study of South African sulfide-enriched coal waste, Helene Marie Stander. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Evaluating the Potential for Blue-Green Infrastructure Benefits using the case study of stormwater ponds in Cape Town, South Africa, Jessica Lee Fell. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled An Analytic Framework to Advance Understanding of Power Sector Reforms in Sub-Saharan Africa, Brent Gary Hampton. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Development of Advanced, Highly Active, and Durable OER Catalyst Layers for PEM Water Electrolyzers, Tulile Patricia Koza. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled A Stepwise Study on the Characterization and Processing of South African Platinum Group Tailings, Risho Ketchwi Martha Manenze. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled The Viability of Transforming Stormwater Detention Ponds into Infiltration Ponds on the Cape Flats, South Africa, Craig Tinashe Tanyanyiwa. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Development of an Online Broadband Impedance Spectroscopy Extraction System of PV Modules through Switch Mode Converters, Lindani Prince Shelembe. For for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Enhancements of Digital Elevation Models Using Tree-Based Ensemble Machine Learning Algorithms, Chukwuma John Okoli. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Contributions to Quantitative Feedback Theory Design and Preliminary Application to a Variable Pitch Quadcopter, Arnold Pretorius. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Developing a ball mill model that incorporates grate and overflow discharge configurations, Adolf Ntaja Mwale. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled The Aerobic Water-Assisted Selective Oxidation of Methane over Platinum-Based Catalysts, Sinkobile Buyisela Lusanda Matlaba. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Response of Composite and Steel V-Structures to Localized Air Blast Loading, Numerical and Experimental, Vinay Ramaswamy Shekhar.
So that's been a wonderful piece of time. Congratulations to each of you who have graduated here today. Graduation is certainly a highlight in UCT's academic calendar. It is an accomplishment not only of our students, but also of the academic staff who take care in the teaching and learning of their respective subjects, the professional and support staff who keep the university's wheels turning throughout the year, and members of the executive who oversee the management of the university. I'm now going to invite our presiding officer, our Chancellor, Dr. Precious Moloi Mosepi, to the podium.
What a beautiful moment. I think I haven't seen so many positive, proud, energetic faces as I watched from my chair you approaching to receive your degrees. Please give yourselves a round of applause. I'm also going to ask you to please stand up and wave your certificates to this side of the room. Thank you very much. It is indeed an important reason for celebrating graduations in a ceremony like this, with the procession, the blessing of the imbongi, the music, the speeches, and the presentation of each graduate. It is because UCT is a commodity that we should all be proud of. There is only one name on each degree or diploma, and you each deserve to feel huge pride in what you have accomplished. But so many people played a part, big or small, in all the hard work, financial planning, and overcoming challenges to help you complete your program of study. Not all of them are here today to share this experience with you, but they are part of your personal community of believers. Please give a round of applause for all the people that have helped us to be here today. What I'd like to encourage you to do is to take time after this excitement has calmed down to consider your place in your community, your workplace, your country. Whose community of believers will you join after today? I started out my career as a medical doctor with the desire to help women's health. Then I realized how many South African women needed help in other areas of their lives. So I wrote a little black book called The Precious Little Black Book for women to empower women with information about their rights in health and economic empowerment. That was a start of a new, different career that spans even the creative industry, sports, music, the arts, and education, all to advance social development, to reduce poverty and inequality in our country and beyond. Each of us has personal aspirations, things they hope to achieve for themselves, like a family, a comfortable home, a successful career. I invite you to extend that list of aspirations to people you will commit to serve. What service organization will you support? Whose education will you help? Where will you apply your energy to help to make the world a better place? One of the reasons that UCT has such a strong reputation around the world is because our focus on social responsiveness and community outreach, using what we know about the world to bring change and to improve the world. And UCT is a proudly African institution because of our commitment to sharing African-based knowledge and to provide African solutions to the problems we see globally. When you march out of this hall at the end of the ceremony, I hope that you take this thought with you. Wherever you will go after today, you will be part of UCT. You are also already a part of other people's lives. You are a member of more than one community. That is a privilege, a responsibility, and a choice, because you now have greater potential to make a difference in other people's lives. I urge you to take the knowledge, the network that you have built at this university to expand your reach in the world. I congratulate you, your families, your loved ones, your friends, your teachers and tutors and advisors, and other UCT colleagues and those in your communities who have provided the impetus for you to achieve this important milestone. Go forth, be proud, reach for the stars because you can. Thank you.
So I'd just like to end by adding in my own congratulations again to all our graduates today, and a huge thanks to the families and those who have supported you over your time at UCT. We all know how much support it takes to become a graduate, so huge thanks there. And I'd also like to say, really following on from the Chancellor, that I think we all understand that this is a great achievement, it's a wonderful achievement, and it's one of many that will come in your life. It's there to set you up to the next phase and all those things that you will do moving forward. And we as UCT will be watching you and celebrating your successes with you as you go. We view you very much to be part of the UCT family, and we ask you to consider yourself in that way as well. In fact, this morning we have what we call our golden graduates celebrating 50 years since their graduation. They've come back to celebrate with us today, and some of them will be in the afternoon graduation. And we hope that in 50 years' time we'll be welcoming you back to celebrate the time that you had at UCT. So really celebrate well, and we really look forward to how you'll use your degree and the knowledge that you've gained through your studies at UCT moving forward, as our Chancellor says, in your community, in your city, and in your nation. Go well. We are now going to end the graduation, and the congregation is requested to stand and remain standing while the procession leaves the hall. I ask the graduates that you will join the procession as it leaves the hall and proceed right to down the steps as far as University Avenue. And then our congregation will join us there, and we'll celebrate down on the plaza on University Avenue. Thank you very much.
Hold on, I haven't dissolved this congregation. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town. You may now rise.